Welcome back to Tabletop Assault. I'm Ross, and today I'm going to be looking at the Shadow Throne box set. So big thank you for Games Workshop for sending one of these through. I do have a Custodes army, and Rob actually does have a Genestealer army, though we've not had a chance to really bring them to the table yet. I'm pretty sure once the new codex comes out, we'll be able to field them then and show you a bit of what he's been collecting. So first thing is, I'm going to have a look at the contents from the box. I'm then going to just explain the manual, which does come with it. And then just to mention that one is that the manual does come with the updated data sheets, and if you skip to the end of the video, I will hopefully have them posted up so you can get an idea of the updated stats for some of the units. But it doesn't come with a huge amount of the roles for the armies, etc. It's mainly their stats and their special abilities. So you can have a look at that if you want. And then I'm going to discuss the pros and cons of these box sets in general, and the circumstances that might make them a good purchase and what might make them a bad purchase. So let's have a look at the inside of the box. When it comes to these ones, I didn't realise they were so thin because I've never really seen one of these ones before, but they are very specifically sprue based box sets. Almost everything in it is sprues, plus the guide to build it, plus the artwork. And that's kind of good that that is essentially what it is. And what you get as well is, of course, the Shadow Throne book. Now, Shadow Throne book does contain some of the rules, the data sheets, to actually play with the models that you are collected in here. Now, obviously it's nice to have the updated data sheets. It also has some story mode missions, etc, etc. So very nice thing to have on there as well. So let's talk about these box sets. I've prepared some stuff to talk about here on what part of them would make you want to buy them in terms of the value for the army that you are getting. So first thing I want to bring up more than anything is FOMO. Do not buy this if you've got a fear of missing out. Simple as. Almost every purchase in life you should really think about if you're buying into fear of missing out. They are a limited box in terms of they are going to produce a certain amount, and then I do believe that they plan to actually produce more in terms of ordering, they're going to make to order. I can't guarantee they're going to do it with this one. They say they're going to do it with all of them, but we know that's not always going to be the case. I would simply put that things like Beast Snaggers and the Black Templars is great. These ones, maybe not so much, but if there is a demand for them, they can produce more. But when it comes to these big new army releases, when it's all new stuff, definitely those are the ones I do encourage them that they should think about producing more afterwards. But as I said, when it comes to fear of missing out, generally don't buy this. A lot of the models are what ones you can buy. So you can buy them at different times if you think about, don't rush to buy Custodes Armor, Genestealer Cult just because this box is out. It's good value, but if you're not currently collecting them, then maybe don't. The other one I want to bring up is painters. Now, if you are a painter and that's your predominant part of the hobby, then if you're currently painting both these, then great, this will probably add quite a bit to you. If it's something new you're interested in going for, then go for it. But ultimately, I'm not one to say much when it comes to painters. There's other YouTube channels that concentrate more on that. But in terms of hobby, I am currently going through a period where I'm going through my cupboard of shame. There's quite a lot. I'm really trying to avoid buying new stuff till that is a bit sorted. May take some time. But when it comes to painting, I think when it comes to hobby is that definitely when it comes to that, it's not about the rules or anything, it's about what you want to paint. If you see what you like in there, then you go for it. So, one thing I'd say that was the biggest problem when it came to this box set is that Games Workshop did not provide the rules quick enough. Now, I know that they plan to bring out the codex at the same time and they've now been delayed. I would have almost have delayed this box set as well, but when it comes to logistics, etc., I can't really judge on that one. I know there's a lot of moving pieces. I think they maybe wanted it before Christmas, but really, you kind of wanted it with the codexes just so they could see a lot of the rules and that justify it. Now, fortunately, you're going to be able to see the rules and data sheets for the models if you look at the end of the video, and that should maybe help a wee bit, but ultimately I would have said, wait till the codexes and then that'll give people some more informed decisions. And I think in the future that might be the best way to go. Maybe bring out the codexes 2 weeks before, then bring these out. Now, it could be the models aren't very good and then people wouldn't actually buy them. But I think it would give a lot more consumer safety in terms of they know what they're getting in terms of the rules in the game that they are playing. Right now, we can't really give you a guarantee of that because we don't have 100% of the picture. Now, in terms of value, I believe once I did a bit of calculating, each force is about £82.50 worth of value when you're looking at British pounds. When you come to some of our discount stores, which on average I think is around 20%, give or take, it's looking about £66 per force, which is still fine. If we go back to the £82.50, is £165 worth of value in terms of the models in this box, and we've now seen the price looks to be £105, thus about a £60 saving. So you are getting a wee bit for that in terms of your saving, but essentially you do need to make sure that you are able to move the other force or use it to make sure you get your full saving. Basically, if you bought this for the Custodes force, you're spending more money than buying everything, I assume, individually. I had to make some calculations in terms of what the characters could have been, etc. So that could be splitting it, selling on eBay, etc. And I think the Custodes force will find it easier to sell on eBay for those who maybe buy the Genestealer Cult side. Genestealer Cult might be a little bit trickier, mainly because of all the characters. You get them in a collected set. I think a lot of people who play Genestealer Cult might already have them and not wanting any more. So that might be quite tricky to move that side. But certainly, if you're Genestealer Cult moving the Custodes, I could see that being quite a bit easier to move. Problem is, you might be flooded on marketplaces to actually see these models. But essentially, in terms of saving, £60 if you know to buy them all separately. So there's not a bad saving on that side as well. Now, in terms of the Custode points, you're looking at 405 points for all the models put together. Now, this doesn't come from the book, it does not appear to have points in it, not that I could see, but I used the Warhammer community post and the latest chapter approved to calculate that, and the same with Genestealer Cult, which is looking at 475 points. Now, are these good units? Now, this is a difficult one to say because, again, I'm doing this in a bit of an isolation without the rules. The champion is looking not bad, though maybe a little bit expensive at 110 points, and I could be maybe pushing my luck on that one. It is a slow unit, and that's something that's maybe with Custodes a little bit of a problem. The Dong Eagle jet bikes are fantastic, they're super fast, they hit hard in ranged, and hit hard in combat. They're just super, super expensive. But movement for such a combat heavy force is essential. So having a 110 point model, which is foot slogging, bit of a difficult side in that one. Terminators are fine. Going from the previous edition, they were quite a strong contender unit. It's one that I've not really mastered in terms of the playstyle myself, but I know a lot of people say when it comes to Custodes, the Terminators are actually very, very good, mainly due to the stratagem. That could change with a new edition. We don't know because the Codex is not out. And the Sister of Silence are fine. I think they're going to be, because we're going down a more Talon of the Emperor sort of route now, it appears with Custodes, they're probably going to be a good wee addition. I have like 5 Sister Silences unpainted, so having these extra ones on top will offer me more variety, which I personally love when it comes to Custodes. So in terms of the Custodes side, it's looking okay. You know, you've got a new HQ, you've got 3 models which are usually considered quite good, and then ones that are not often bought but are looking to be expanded on. In the Genestealer Cult side, we have the HQ side, which is that bundle of the Patriarch and all of them. I think that is almost a mandatory purchase for new Genestealer Cult players, because you get all these characters, which is a fundamental side of Genestealer Cult. The new character, I think, is okay, maybe about 10, maybe 15 points too expensive. Maybe, again, I could be wrong on that side. Maybe there might be tricks that I'm missing as well. But I think if it had been 2 damage on infantry, then it was like 3 or maybe even 4 onto monsters or vehicles, then I'd be like, yeah, 80 points, absolutely clear. Having the random amount of shots and then only 1 damage of infantry is not great, just because we see so many 2 wound infantry these days, mainly from the Space Marine side. But if it was 2 damage, I would have said absolutely fantastic unit. I think it would have been great. Overall, I think it's a fine unit. And then you have the general troops for Genestealer Cult, and these are fine in terms of just getting more of them. I think when you've got these horde-based armies, not that Genestealer Cult's not so much compared to Tyrannids himself or Orcs, but when you are, it's always handy to have a few extra troops if you haven't fully got the amount you're looking for. So ultimately, are they good for new players? For Genestealer Cult, I give them about a 7 out of 10, and for Custodes, I'm only giving about 4 out of 10. The HQs are a must really for Genestealer Cult, so I feel if you're going to start Genestealer Cult, that's the kind of HQs you're going to start off with. And then for the Custodes, you probably need a little bit more variety. These aren't really going to be the starting basis of your force. For current players, I only give the Genestealer Cult a 2 out of 10 and the Custodes a 6 out of 10. And this should roughly give you the idea of where I think in terms of purchasing for this box set is. Now the Genestealer Cult one I'd say is that if you are a current Genestealer Cult player, you probably have the HQ side, which makes up a large portion of the models you're buying here in terms of monetary value. You're really just getting the one new extra character and the troops, and maybe that's enough, but I just feel that there's going to be, I don't think you can take 2 Patriarchs, so there seems to be a bit of overlap there that I don't think works out well for the Genestealer Cult, though I think you can take multiple Maguses, etc. And in terms of the Custodes, I actually think this is a really good edition one. The fact that you've got a new HQ choice, and then you have the Terminators, which if you feel you don't have enough of them, then you can add some more in there. And then when it comes to the Sister Silence, I think most Custodes players is something they will add if we know what the rules are, and they look to be quite good. Just before I finish up, I'm going to mention in terms of some of the unit stuff within this book. Now everything's going to be here in 2 seconds, so you can skip to that one, and I'm mainly saying it from the Custodes side. The Blade Champion does indeed have a 3-up save, not a 2-up save. I was a bit surprised by that one. The Sisters appear to all have 2 wounds and 2 attacks, not only 1 wound piece, but 2 attacks, 3 for their champion. I don't know if that was always the case, never really played them. Alaris Custodians have 4 wounds and 4 attacks, which is fine. A lot of their swing weapons, which was like D3, is now gone to mainly 2 damage. This is like for your axe and spear. The axe is +3, -2, 2 damage. The spear is +2, -3, 2 damage. That's for all their combat capabilities, but they're both 24 inches, rapid fire 1, strength 4, -1, 2 damage. So you're seeing a lot less of the swing damage, but I think that was always going to be the case, so I would have loved the axe to be damage 3, because them swinging strength 8 with no minuses to hit, 3 damage, that would have been crazy. You also have there the Shield Captain Hilarious Terminator armor. They are 8 wounds and 6 attacks apiece, so I think they went up quite a wee bit as well, so that is quite nice in there. Vexilla Praetor is 7 wounds, 4 attacks. Yep. In terms of their benefits, because I know some people will be desperate to know this in case they still get the -1, the Defensor has the following ability: while friendly shield hosts core or characters within 6 inches, they benefit from light cover. Okay. The Imperious, the bearer of the following ability: Vexilla Imperious Order, while a friendly shield host core or character within 6 inches, add 1 to the attack characteristic of each model in this unit. That could be very good, adding to the attack. And then we also have Vexilla Magnifica, which I think was the sort of go-to one. The bearer has the following ability, which is 6-inch aura while friendly shield host core and character units character unit is within 6 inches of this model. It benefits from dense cover, which essentially is pretty good. I think dense cover is quite a good winner on that side. Obviously, if anything avoids dense cover, then it's not so good. But yeah, very interesting in terms of to see the changes to the Vexillas. So that's quite nice in that one as well. In terms of Genestealer Cult, I don't know the difference between all of them. In terms of Patriarch, they are looking at movement 8, I think that was always the case. 7 wounds, 6 attacks, wow. And then most of their stuff, I believe, is more or less the same, but I could be wrong on that one. Any questions, you can look at the end of the video, or put it in the comments below. In terms of everything else, is more or less looking the same. The Magus is again 2 psychic abilities, deny 1. They don't list any of the psychic abilities themselves. Yeah, and the Neophyte hybrids, I again don't have points, but there is a couple of their weapons. I know that people will probably look at the seismic charges as the important ones, or is it the mining laser, which is 24 inches, heavy 1, strength 9, -3, and D6 damage. I think that one could have probably benefited from being 3 plus D3, which is a good way to guarantee them. It's the same, I think, for last cannons, they should be that as well. So that is it for the Shadow Throne box set. I won't talk about lore, you can leave that one to a little bit of a surprise to yourself, though. If you put in the comments, it might spoil it. But maybe the part that people were most excited for. So is this a good box set for you? Essentially, I'm going to say it is very, very dependent. If you have plans for both these forces, absolutely go ahead. I think that you will probably, if you're buying both, then yeah, you're going to see a benefit. If you have a way to manage to move the other side if you don't want them, then yeah, cool, that's probably going to be a benefit from yourself. And then you have my ratings for each if you are a new player or an existing player. And to summarise that, if you are a new player, Genestealer Cult's great, Custodes not so good. Current player, Genestealer Cult, I'm a bit think this one's maybe a miss. And for Custodes, it's not so bad. But again, we kind of need the codexes to find out the real value of this box. So maybe next time, bring out the codexes first, then bring these out. And I think a lot more customers might be allured to make a purchase. So thanks again to Games Workshop for sending one through. It will definitely help our forces. And we'll see you on our Tabletop Assault Battle Report.